So, I'm back as usual after a very long time. Sorry for that, but things have been going really crazy for the last couple months. I have some news anyway. First, I passed the Take Bits 2 Prüfung. So now I'm officially Bits 2. Second, I'm pursuing a hospitation in a hospital here in Germany. I think most of my viewers are doctors who want to come to Germany, so I think the majority here knows what a hospitation is. I have 2 hospitations, first in psychiatry and second in pediatrics, which is my original specialty. So yeah, I usually come back from the hospital very tired, and all I need to do is to chill out, to talk to friends and family, to cook, to eat, to watch anime, and to study. Yeah, I'm a doctor, I gotta study. So yeah, I definitely don't have time for YouTube, which is okay. I mean, YouTube is a thing I like to do. It's not a thing I have to do. It's a hobby. I do it in my free time, and if I don't have free time, then no pressure. Also, I'm preparing for the Fachsprachprüfung. Again, doctors who want to come to Germany probably know what is this. So I got a lot to study, and with the hospitation, I do have very tiny portions of free time. And because I've got a lot to study, I'm thinking of making some study with me content. I've wanted to do this since I was still in Syria, but I couldn't because there was no electricity and no good environment to do such a thing. And I was dreaming of the day I'm gonna be in Germany studying for hours, not giving a shit about electricity or warmth. And guess what? I am in Germany, not giving a shit about these kind of things. So I'm gonna share you a lot of study sessions. We can study together, we can get things done together. So let's get back to the main topic. In the last chapters, I presented to you 2 of my favorite strategies when it comes to learning languages, which are spaced repetition and the chunking technique, combined with some examples on how these strategies have been pushing me on my way to fluency. Back in 2019-2020, I was still following a traditional way to learn German. I was simply attending a course, adopting a boring learning method, and using books, which all depict a similar syllabus. I mentioned before that books are not my favorite when it comes to languages. But back in 2019-2020, time had been playing a significant role, surrounding me with very, very bad circumstances, which required me to take fast decisions. I wanted to take the shortest path and the quickest possible ways to learn this language. The faster, the better. I couldn't use the same path I used to learn English. When I first started to learn English, I was a child. I was simply experimenting. When something doesn't work, I threw it away and I tried something else. I was walking with no specific plan, and I was happy about it. It was a journey to search before it was a destination to learn, and this curiosity ignited my motives more and more to learn a new language. I remember I was not allowed to have a phone. My parents didn't allow me to get a phone till I was 18, so I didn't have internet access whenever I want. And keep in mind that I was a kid. I had no pressure, so having fun was a huge part of my learning process. With German, on the other hand, it's very different. I'm not a school student anymore, but a medical student. I'm not doing this only because I want to, but also because I have to. Time presenting itself as a crucial factor in all this chaos. I mean, the economic crisis in Syria is getting worse every second. I was not sure when I graduate, Germany will still suffer from this lack of doctors and healthcare workers, and they are still on the need to bring other doctors from other countries. The political situation in Syria is getting more complicated, so you can't guarantee that you will manage to get out of that spot one day. And the war itself is getting more intense, so you don't know if you will live or you will die in some explosion. So you have this inner sound that insists on you to do this as fast as you can. And there is another factor that I should not forget about, which is the exam that I should pass in order to get the visa, which is the German language exam. There is an exam which kills the fun and brings up the pressure into a higher level. So it's not in a place where I can experiment or convey the same practices I tried to learn English. You should be aware of the conditions that surround you when you want to learn a new skill that you wish it could improve your life quality. To understand your situation, to know your weaknesses, your strength, to bring close the elements that could create a good environment around you, and to push the bad ones away. Not only each language is different in culture, history, and in structure, but also you are getting different as time goes by. Your circumstances, your dreams, needs, motives, memory change from time to time. And each language you learn turns you into a totally different person. Not only you get to learn a new skill and to extend your knowledge, but also you acquire a new personality. I've been experiencing this change of personality. I would never be the same person I am now if I had not learned English or German. I would never gain these interests of humanity, philosophy, photography, music, anime, sports, science, reading, writing. I mean, even medicine, by the way, even medicine. I would never gain these interests if it's not for the languages I have learned. They always tell me that I'm different and special, and I attribute this to the child me that was curious enough to learn a new language on her own. So, 2019, 2020, the circumstances that were shadowing me were crappy, like very, very crappy, like the ultimate level of shit that you can imagine. I'm a medical graduate preparing for the graduation exam. The person I love the most in this world has cancer, and I'm not sure what should I do next. Should I stay in Syria and pursue my residency there in a country that's already ripped off and torn apart by war, or should I follow my eternal dream and leave the Middle East and the Arab world? I don't even know what specialty I should go for. I've always known that I'm into pediatrics, but I was not sure that I should go for it, given the fact that it's a hard specialty. So yeah, a crappy country, my brother has cancer, I'm not sure what should I do after graduation, and in order to graduate, I have to pass this super hard graduation exam. So I was literally going through hell. I stated before that back then learning German was a place I can escape to, far away from everything was happening. Learning German was, and still is, very therapeutic. So yeah, taking the circumstances into account, I had to choose a clear way, something I can feel in my hand and look at and say, yeah, this is the plan for now. I was not planning to continue learning German that way, of course, but I wanted to get a clear vision of the beginning. A course with books, a teacher, and a direct syllabus was the perfect option, considering my situation. So you should be a master in reading and predicting things, to have a deep look into everything you may encounter. This is a very philosophical approach of language learning, I know, but I think it should be taken that way. It should be philosophical. A language is very similar to a DNA chain. It holds billions of information that encode billions of thoughts that could be translated into behaviors. The chain is a template that transfers information from generation to the other. The information, on the other hand, are not quite stable. They have the ability to change in many ways. They can interact with other information. They sometimes change because they seek survival or to adapt to some situation, or sometimes they change by coincidence. Science calls this evolution. And the chain, the template, makes it sure that these evolved information pass into the future. Languages evolve, and they can shape the way humans think, talk, and behave. It's like this app we install in our heads to act in a default mode, just like DNA. And actually, science is looking back now to see if there was what we call analytical thinking and the consciousness we know now as Homo sapiens before languages. There are a lot of theories that suggest that analytical thinking came after languages, not the opposite. That's why the way we think changes every time we learn a new language. I'm gonna stop here to leave the rest for the next chapters. You can follow my visual or written work on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'll see you next time. Take care.